Joining us to discuss plastic pollution further, I'm joined now by Kate O'Neill, Professor of Global Environmental Governance at the University of California at Berkeley. Thanks very much for your time, Kate.
Now,
this year marks the 50th anniversary of World Environment Day. 5 decades on, tell us about the scale of plastics we're dealing with globally and how it's impacting the environment.
Yeah, it's really only been 50 years since plastics started taking off as waste in the environment, and really only about 25 years since we really started this huge volume of single-use plastics. So it's amazing how much damage it's done since then. So much plastic is, as the piece before mentioned, now in global oceans and waterways. Other is in landfill. Some of it's been incinerated, but a lot of it is just still with us in different forms, and very little is being recycled.
The Paris talks produced a legally binding treaty for cutting plastic waste by 80% by 2040. What are some of the challenges to meet this milestone, especially given that each nation is so different with diverse sets of challenges?
Right. Well, I'll start by saying that they have made astounding progress so far for a UN treaty. So I'm feeling really optimistic as that meeting ended last week in Paris that they will be moving forward on a draft. However, having said that, yes, countries have very different ideas about how to reduce plastics, what needs to be done. A lot of countries are calling for countries in the global north to pay for picking up waste, managing it, and for the damage they've done. The plastics industry has a different perspective from anti-plastics activists. Both of those voices are very strong. So while you have the activist community saying we have to stop producing plastics, you have the plastics industry and certain other governments saying, no, actually, we just need to stop it entering the environment and recycle and turn it into energy. So these are very controversial positions.
What steps can businesses and individuals take to tackle plastic pollution? How can people contribute to this goal on a smaller scale?
Yeah, there are lots of different ways. One is to curb or stop the use of single-use plastics like straws, grocery bags, and so on. Another is to recycle properly, learn how to clean plastics before putting it in the recycling bin. But I think a really important thing is to start to know what the policies are around them. Start to lobby local governments, local companies, state governments, whoever, to really keep them on their toes regarding plastic pollution and to make sure they build better and enforce better policies locally and nationally.
You mentioned recycling. From what I understand, the issue of plastic pollution is compounded by shocking statistics on recycling, and also that the pandemic had got in the way of people's responsibility to recycle. Can you just explain that for us a bit?
Yeah. The pandemic was a real kind of blow for a lot of zero waste anti-plastics policies because people were told as the pandemic broke out that we needed to go back to plastics. They were hygienic. Lots of cities and areas just rolled back bans on plastic bags. For no real reason. We knew at the time that wasn't really going to stop the disease from spreading. But people got worried. They got worried about hygiene. They started ordering a whole lot more stuff at home, so a whole lot more plastic packaging. So we wound up in the few years of the pandemic with weaker laws and a whole lot more plastic. And we are really trying to recover from that now.
All right, Kate O'Neill, Professor of Global Environmental Governance at the University of California at Berkeley. Thank you very much.